Yo guys, welcome back to another video. This is going to be the OP7 with ban list prediction tier list for essentially for Nats for everyone in the West. Since the ban is gonna be in place right before 08 comes out, and it's happening for a lot of the nationals that are going on in the West that are happening around that like September 6th to September like 14th window, when like those 2 weeks when a lot of the nationals are happening. And we're just going to take a quick little look, have some fun, make some predictions, see what the meta is going to look like with Red Purple Law Leader banned and NES Lobby banned from Lucci. What could top, what might be a spicy build to bring, what might be a, a crazy pick, but maybe it'll just work out. And if you're a Giga Chad enough to do it, maybe you can top Nats with one of these leaders. But just gonna have some fun, make some predictions, but without any further ado, let's jump in and let's get started. Alright, so as always, I'll go over the tier list real quick. Since this is a very specific one with essentially, can you bring this to Nats or not, like being the kind of main theme, we just kind of have like a can bring this to Nats as A tier, which is like top 8, like what you're probably gonna see take up the majority if not all of top 8. Then there's B tier, which is competitive, which is top 16, right? I know these are arbitrary numbers, but just go with me, all right? Then we have outliers, which is a C tier, which is like top 32, honestly, like top 32 to 64. These are like, if you got some Giga Chad, like slightly off meta or slightly not as popular leaders that are still strong, they're just maybe not as consistently topping most of the time. This is where you might find some of those. We have a category for like really not sure. I know this is a bit of a cop-out, but there are some that I'm really just not sure. Here's our leader pool. These are just essentially like all the leaders that I consider to have like some kind of a shot, whether it's, a good shot or if it's copium. If your leader's not on here, I apologize. Let me know if you think there really is a leader that's not here that should be on there. Then we got the spice and we got the copium. The spice I think is going to be similar to the outliers, but maybe just even a bit more of a stretch, and you might be even more surprised to see them. And then the copium, as we all know, copium's copium. We all love to do it, but at the end of the day, you gotta know when you're coping and when you're really cooking. So just at the very beginning here, shouts out to our fallen heroes. And Red Purple Law joins the ranks of Sakazuki as the other officially going to be banned leader in the One Piece card game. So F's in chat, quick salute to you both. You served us well, and may God rest your soul. All right, let's just start off. I don't have a certain order in here. I'm just gonna throw things into what tier I think, and then quickly maybe rearrange it at the end. I don't want this to take too long, since this is like one of the more speculative, predictive tier lists of any that I've made. And I love making tier lists. And again, I'll just say this at the top. This is all just my opinion, based on what I've seen, and I personally played through the 08 meta, and I know it's going to be different for you guys. So this is uncharted territory is what I'm trying to say. Is like I played through the 08 meta in Japan, but this is different. This isn't even 08 yet, and it's completely different meta. So like normally I have a little bit more of a basis to stand on. I don't even know if I have anything to stand on here. That's all I'm trying to say. So I'm even less qualified to make this tier list than normal. That's what I'm trying to say. But yeah, it's just for fun. I'm just gonna do this. Obviously, let me know if you think something's wrong, or if you have actually, you didn't consider this matchup, so this leader should probably be a little bit higher or lower, yada yada yada. Let's start it off with Lucci. Shockingly enough, like, wouldn't you know it, ACOS Moria is just a broken card, and I don't think you need stage to be tier 1 for Lucci. I think Lucci's gonna be tier 1. Like, banning stage may not even be enough at the end of the day. If the OP9 meta doesn't shape up the way we're kind of hoping it will, with like Blackbeard and some of the other leaders that kind of can maybe curb Lucci a little bit, I think we're gonna run into some problems where ACOS Moria might finally be on the chopping block. But that's all in the future, neither here nor there. Plus, it'll be really interesting to see how he does in 08 for everyone in the West. Red Green Law. I think this is gonna have to go. Man, he's either copium or outliers. I'm gonna put him in copium for now. Nah, I'll put him in the outliers. I still think he just loses to Lucci. I think he even loses to Blue a lot now. Like, even Boa Hancock, I think, can probably beat Law pretty consistently. Not really sure. But he is strong. He is strong. We did see the Giga Chad Red Green Law player win that one regionals a few weeks ago. Black Yellow Luffy is probably either best deck in format or very close to it. I think all they have to do is kind of like tech around some of their only like potential bad matchups that are going to be in the top tier, and then just, you know, just hope they don't run into any of the rogue decks that do beat them, because that is one of Luffy's downsides, is he does lose to like a bunch of random decks that are a little bit lower on the tier list. But just overall, and he can be an inconsistent deck at times if you don't find the right pieces, but overall I still think he's a very consistent deck. As that is like much of an oxymoron or like a conflicting statement as that might sound. Perona, I think Perona is definitely going into the outliers. Still really strong. If you draw your Morias when you need them, she's still topping. She's still getting up there in OP7, so I think it's really strong. Nami, I maybe would have put higher, but after considering things, and for now these aren't in really any particular order, but I think I'm going to put her up to the top tier just because we've seen how powerful Nami is in 07. I don't think most people are aware of this, but Nami was topping and winning a bunch of stuff in the East as well, especially Japan in 07. She just kind of really fell off in 08 just because it's incredibly hard with the new power-ups from Red Purple Law. But with Red Purple Law just like out of the equation, which is essentially Nami's worst matchup in 07, I do think she's going to be doing well, but I do think we're going to see a slight rise in like Dofi, Hancock, and obviously Reiju. So I think those are three decks that can kind of handle Nami pretty well. So we'll see. She may even just be like on the BT here, but just for now, and because I'm a Nami stan, and still one of my favorite decks from, you know, I've been a Nami fan from like, you know, OP03, whatever she came out, and the deck has changed a lot. I don't really play her as much anymore personally, but I still really enjoy the deck, and I still think it's cool. Yamato, I think I'll get into this later with Yamato probably, and you guys all know I'm extremely biased when it comes to Yamato. Yamato's my favorite leader. I'm a huge Yamato stan. But with Law gone and with Stage gone from Lucci, you can now like Fortress Yamato's back on the menu, Samurai Yamato's back on the menu, and with Samurai Yamato having a decent matchup like into Luffy, and I've been testing a ton of OP07 Yamato recently, and like if you have the right techs, you can beat Lucci. It's not as hard as it used to be. You have a favorable matchup into Nami, I'd say, just slightly favored for Yamato, especially depending on what cards you're running. Like if you just see your Hodies, right? So yeah, not too bad, not in an actual terrible spot. I would actually consider putting her up there, but I think people would just get mad at me. So like for now, might just keep her here. We'll see. Red Black Sabo, unfortunately, struggled against Law really bad, but was great into Lucci. Like is a Lucci killer even in like 08. But unfortunately I think he's just in a weird spot, and again with the rise of some of these blue decks, I think he's just kind of in like a middling spot that I'm really not sure, so I'm gonna keep him in really not sure for now. He could be like a spice pick for sure. Blue Dofi, don't get mad at me if you're a Blue Dofi stan, but I just really don't think he's there in 07. I have played against the 8.5 with the new starter decks Dofi, and it's once you see the power of that, you realize like, okay, yeah, 07 Dofi was like nothing compared to this. So he does get so much stronger, but I still just think generically the best blue deck is going to be Hancock. And since Hancock has like, you know, a decent-ish matchup into Black Yellow Luffy, Lucci's still going to be really hard, but they can't high roll with Stage and just start destroying all your characters anymore. So if you do see your Jinbeis and you get some of those combos off, I think you're going to be okay. You'll have a shot. The other thing is Hancock's really good against Bonnie, which is probably going to be another one of the top tier leaders. So She just kind of gets a nice little place. Hancock was decent against Red Purple Law. That wasn't really the biggest problem. The problem was always Lucci and Black. So because of that, and since Lucci is still going to be so strong, I don't think I can put her any higher. I do think I'll keep her here for now. Reiju, I need to say it now. I think everyone in the West is coping so hard with Reiju at the moment. I do think it's like really good, but there's no way she's best deck in format, like especially since we haven't really tested it. People have already been running her in like offline and online like the past couple weeks tournaments, and it's like, yeah, you can see that even when you're not going up against red purple law, like there's still ways the deck is so reliant on like seeing the tempo plays off of your combos and stuff, to the point where yeah, I don't know. I don't think I can put her any higher. Like, I will give her the benefit of the doubt because it is a good deck, and with the Portia and the Chi-Chis and all the new combos with the Foxy Pirates and stuff, like that engine, it's still really strong, right? But at the end of the day, you kind of need to mid to high roll to win most of your matches comfortably. And if you're mid to low rolling, it's like, I mean, you might as well be down here with like the C. In fact, I might even just keep her here. I might even just keep her here for now. Like at the top of C. We'll see. Bonnie, at the start, I thought she was gonna be possibly up here. I really did. But here's the thing: is like Black Yellow Luffy. If someone's running Black Yellow Luffy in this new meta, they're gonna be looking out for Bonnie, because that's essentially kind of like your worst like top tier matchup. So everyone and their mom is gonna have like either the 4 Kuzan or the Ice Age, and like just they're gonna have the techs ready to go to beat your Zoros, the 9-cost Zoros. But here's the thing: is like I think if you play smart and you have 10-cost Dofi as well, you can still beat Black Yellow Luffy. I just don't know if the full Dofi build is what's gonna be good. Like in this new like 07.5 or whatever it is, Black is still really good against Bonnie. So I don't know, and Bonnie still has a hard time into Boa, so I'm gonna kind of like keep it right here just for now. Dragon, I think, is a weird leader where I'm not even sure why he's in this list. I think I'll put him in the Copium just because red is, I don't know. I will say, depending on how the sorry if you're Dragon, I like Dragon too, but I think it's a little bit of Copium. In fact, I'm gonna throw my guy down here. We're gonna do this. I'm sorry. So Betty is the first spice. If certain things shake up in the meta where it's like Black Yellow Luffy and Nami and I don't know, Reiju, if it really is something like this, even Lucci, Betty, if you're a really good Betty player and bro, you just high roll a few times that day, like I think you can top with Betty, as crazy as that sounds. The other spice I think is Red Green Odin, because he's just a really solid leader that only really struggles into black. Like could even beat Red Purple Law. Definitely struggled into Red Purple Law a bit too. But with a nerfed Lucci, Red Green Odin actually can cook. Like you can definitely cook with Red Green Odin. And I'm not just Wano stan biased saying that. Like I really do think you can cook with Red Green Odin, and there's definitely a good shot for him doing well. All right, next we got Vegapunk. So Vegapunk is a leader that I like to play a lot, and I mained for a little bit in 07 and have mained a bit here in 08 as well recently. And I think he's really good. I don't think as many people are on him in the West, which I'd love to see more people playing him. I know he's seen a little bit more of an uptick just after the Giga Chad Ka, the Japanese player, got top 4 and then top 32 at the Wave 1 CS finals in Japan. The unfortunate thing is like until you get 5-cost Nami, it is still a little bit of a shaky deck, and it takes so much time and effort to learn how to pilot this thing correctly and to like do well, and even then you still kind of need things to go your way. You can beat Lucci, you can beat Red Purple Law, you can beat Blue Dofi, Black Yellow Luffy is unfortunately a kind of difficult matchup. You really need your Katakuris and Shakas, and even then it's not guaranteed. I'd say it's still pretty favored for Black Yellow Luffy, but it's not that difficult. Still kind of hard into some of these leaders. Like Bo's not that hard. Bonnie unfortunately is a pretty difficult matchup for Vegapunk, because if you just don't see like the tempo that you need and they get like a 9-cost Zoro on the field, you don't have a Raigo or something for it, it's really hard. I do think Reiju can be a little bit difficult. It's not as hard as people think. I have been practicing this matchup a little bit, but it's still difficult, right? Besides that, you know, like, so it's kind of like a 50-50 split among the top leaders, where he's got some decent matchups, he's got some bad ones, and yeah, so I can't really put him up any higher just because we haven't seen him top as well. I think Red Purple Luffy could be like an outlier too, just because he's, you know, he's kind of like a Whitebeard where he's kind of strong, but just could be up there. I don't know why. I just feel like he has this potential to like kind of come back with Red Purple Law gone, because oddly enough, Red Purple Law was actually a pretty difficult matchup for him, even though he's 6k leader, just because they could kind of out tempo you, and then like the death by 1,000 needles kind of thing. And next we got Whitebeard. He's going straight to Copium, and I'm sorry if you're a Whitebeard stan, I'll put him at the top for you guys, but I just don't think he's there, not right now. Ace, Blue Yellow Ace, I'll put up here. Like you could see, this is tough. This is tough. Yeah, not so sure. I actually until 08, I think this is gonna be a Copium. Katakuri, with Law gone and with Lucci nerfed, I think Katakuri has a shot of being like a sneaky, like a, and look, we're talking like up to top 64-ish here, so that's not that crazy, right? I think Rebecca is spice. I will always say it. Rebecca is a leader I love, a leader I'm not that great at playing personally, so I'm not good with cooking. I'm not good at cooking with her. I've found my love in Vegapunk with the leaders who can't attack, so I'll leave it to all my Rebecca stans, but I do think she has real potential. She's had real potential this whole time, right? We've seen a few Giga Chads take her to regionals and stuff and do pretty well, but it's like it's pretty difficult. It's pretty difficult, and again, like you just kind of need things to go your way a bit. But I still think she's a strong leader. Ploofy, Purple Luffy, I think is similar to Katakuri, like kind of in this weird like outlier thing. Honestly, I'd put him above Red Purple Luffy. I'm not sure if Red Purple Luffy needs to be here, but I'm kind of just throwing him a bone at this point. I do think maybe we can do something like this. Let's see. Hold on. All right, let's get on to Moria. Let's get to Moria here. All right, Moria is going to go into top 16 for me just because I think with Lucci being nerfed and Law out of the picture, I do think a lot of Moria players are going to just kind of come back. And I think even without stage, most of the time, Lucci still wins this Black Mirror. But Moria can get Moria's back out of the trash with Hogback. And so if it's a grindy matchup and they're just recycling their Morias, I do think that can lend to them actually winning out, because if Lucci doesn't have stage, normally stage was enough to kind of like make it too much for even for Moria. But again, good matchup into Hancock. Can beat Nami. I think Moria is actually pretty decent against Nami. Like Lucci just loses to Nami. I think Moria can beat Nami. You just have to like really practice the matchup. But then of course, I think you lose the Black Yellow Luffy. For whatever reason, I've always seen Moria's kind of do better into Black Yellow Luffy than Lucci can do into Black Yellow Luffy. I don't know if that really means much, but like Lucci just overall stronger, but Moria might have a better matchup into BYL. I don't know, it's kind of hard. So Enel, I'm probably gonna put him up here just because with Lucci nerfed, Enel has just that slightly stronger position. Enel still has a little bit of a tricky matchup into Black Yellow Luffy, but it's not impossible. If you have your Katakuris and you have your top end, you can still win that one. You die to Nami, you just lose to Nami. And even Hancock, like if they have a pudding and they get it off on you on the perfect timing, you can definitely lose as Enel. But then they normally also need like their 10 drop Kaido at that point, so it's kind of hard. It's not as easy to beat Enel as you might think with Hancock if they know the matchup. And then yeah, I just think Enel can lose to something like Reiju if they rush you down fast enough. But I've done a little bit of testing, and most of the time you can kind of even out. And unless they're just high rolling like crazy and just see like 3 Porsche Ichiji combos like back to back to back, you're actually not in the worst position. I do think he's another thing too is like when a meta shift like this happens, you have these gaps, and with new decks, new lists, new leaders that are being used, Enel is always like the first leader to just take advantage of that, because he punishes anybody who makes mistakes. And if you're not just like thinking of everything super carefully, you can make an easy mistake and you just lose to Enel, and it's really unfortunate. You know, you love to play him, you hate to lose to him, right? That's kind of the thing. I think somebody said that recently, and I think that's really good. Vivi, I think, is copium. I'm sorry, unfortunately. She's probably another one that I'm not sure if it needs to even be in here. Unfortunately, Red Zoro is still copium, I believe. I believe he's kind of copium. And then Red, Yellow Sabo. I mean, he's kind of got potential. I don't know why. This is just going to be the Sabo tier. I don't know why. It's just how I'm feeling today. I don't know why he's there. Yeah, okay. I think this is it. This is the leaders placed. Now we can kind of change and fix them, see if there's anything we would change. Here's the thing that I want to come back to Yamato too, is the Sky Aggro build has a place here as well. Sky Aggro, you can beat Reiju. Bonnie is difficult, Enel is difficult, but Sky Aggro consistently can beat Black Gale Luffy. You just need to know the matchup. You can beat Lucci, especially if they don't have stage. But right now, I kind of have hope for the Samurai build, because with the Samurai build, you can beat Enel more consistently. You can beat Bonnie a little bit more consistently, and you can just survive some of these other matchups that you might just lose more quickly. Like Reiju can rush you down, but if you establish Momo and you're healing and you get some draw, avoid getting puddinged and stuff like that. Yamato just has a good matchup into Perona. I think Dofi is manageable. You beat Vegapunk, you can beat Katakuri. Pluffy is like, either if they high roll with blockers and just see enough counter, they can beat you, but it's still like pretty, maybe slightly favored for Yamato. So if you do these kind of one-to-one comparisons and you're looking at everything, I think putting Yamato here is fine. You can rearrange this to whatever order you want. I'm gonna put Luffy down in copium. I don't know what he's doing there. Okay, this is it. Red Purple Luffy just goes to copium out of nowhere, and sorry. And this is kind of where I see it. This is roughly in order of what I think it would be too. I got my biases in with Yamato and Vegapunk, but I really do think I have valid reasons for putting them here. But yeah, so this is kind of where I see everything as like potential. You could take, in my opinion, you can take any deck from these 3 lists right here, and you could take it to the nationals that are happening, that are within the ban period of OP7 bans until OP8 comes out. And then we'll take another look. You know, this is gonna be so much fun to see how the OP8 meta happens and like shakes up in the West. And we'll be doing some more tier lists. I'll probably do another like 08 predictive tier list after nationals, maybe, just kind of seeing how that goes and seeing what decks people bring. We'll make like an actual full 08 list with the new leaders and everything too, and then we'll like do one in the middle. You know, we'll do these regularly updated ones. But that is gonna be it for me. Let me know if you think this is terrible, if I'm not considering things correctly, if you think Enel should be lower. I know some people will probably be mad that he's even this high, but I just think Enel is just, you can't count him out, unfortunately. Don't at me about Yamato. I don't want to hear it. Yamato's staying right there. Let me know if you think Bonnie is too high, too low. Let me know if you think the Reiju hype is not copium and not overrated, because I personally think it is. But yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.